But you can try a bit. But would you, for instance, as a member of the international super rich, would you perhaps not think to yourself, I can work for the common good, and we shouldn't always just look at the financial profit motive, and maybe we should pay up a bit more? I mean, is there anything wrong with that?
I do that all the time. I am hugely involved in philanthropy. I pay more taxes than most people. I don't complain about that. But the problem with gouging the rich is that stops the dynamism of what is America. The dream in America is that you can start with nothing and you can become fabulously
rich. But everybody now all over the world is asking for more responsible, accountable capitalism. Gordon Brown, Nicolas Sarkozy, they're all saying now, look, the old way of doing things, free market rules and capitalism, okay, we've got to change that a bit now and have something much more accountable.
Before we just jump on that bandwagon, let's look at what capitalism created. Capitalism created more wealth, more development, more good living for more people in the world than any other system we've ever known. So
that's
as a
debatable.
leader,
that's debatable. A lot of people get left at the bottom, don't they?
Well, there are people at the bottom, and so we have to have what the Prime Minister of India calls inclusive growth. We, of course, need to have a safety net. But we cannot kill the goose that laid the golden egg in America.
But you accept,
and that's capitalism.
But you accept that things are being done a bit different now. You've seen just how angry public opinion is at the bankers with their bonuses and people saying, look, people lining their pockets at our expense, and that the mood has really turned now and against the super rich.
Yeah, but I wish that we had leaders who could, instead of glomming on to that anger, could say mistakes have been made, but let's rise above these mistakes. Right. Let's come together as a community. Let's not create the evil rich people and the good people who don't pay any taxes. We're in this together. Let's create a society that grows. And that's what Bill Clinton did. If I could just talk about myself as a Democrat, I'm a new Democrat. And a new Democrat believes in fiscal responsibility and social justice and opportunity.
All right.
That's what Bill Clinton did, and that's not what Barack Obama is doing.
You mentioned Barack Obama's initiative to try to improve health care. It costs 17% of GDP in the United States, much more than, say, France, Germany, typically about 10% of GDP. Now, his plan is to try to extend coverage to those 46 million Americans who are currently uninsured and really suffering because they're not getting health care, and at the same time cutting costs because there are huge administrative costs. Now, what's the matter with doing that?
Oh, absolutely. Those are two vital objectives.
Well, that's what he's trying to do.
That John McCain, Hillary Clinton, and Barack Obama all said are essential for exactly the reasons that you say. But the problem is he thinks that he's so intelligent that he can take this very complicated problem, sit in a room, and solve it.
But he's not, because, I mean, that's unfair, isn't it? Because I have to tell you, 6 major health industry players, including America's health insurance plans, are backing the Obama administration's approach to reform health care. Paul Krugman, professor of economics at Princeton University, says, I still won't count my health care chickens until they're hatched, but this is some of the best policy news I've heard in a long time. People in the know are applauding his efforts.
Okay, Paul Krugman is a really interesting case, because like I said before, the first plan that came out was going to cost $1.8 trillion over 10 years and leave 38 million people uninsured. When the Obama people went back to redo it, they came up with a plan that was only going to cost $611 billion. And then it was Paul Krugman who said, the reason that it doesn't cost as much as the old plan is because they've taken the poor and the near poor out of the proposed plan for the general population and put that money into what we call Medicare, which makes the total program $1.3 trillion.
Okay, but
that could be money that we want to spend. But we have to spend time dealing with other alternatives.
But
there's
he's
a
trying.
bipartisan alternative.
Okay, yeah, but we can't go too much into the intricacies of US healthcare, but he is trying, and there are people who are applauding him. That's the point I was making.
I love the trying.
Okay,
I
all
love
right.
the trying.
On foreign affairs, you have said this in a recent article. Barack Obama has launched a campaign of engagement with countries like Russia and Iran, as well as America's European allies, promising that negotiations will be the cornerstone of his diplomacy. Now, what's the matter with that? I mean, are you criticising him for trying negotiations and diplomacy?
No. I'm not in the business of criticizing Barack Obama. I want Barack Obama to succeed. I want Barack Obama to succeed doing the right things for America. And I think if we just fall in love with the narrative of Barack Obama and don't call him to task on his spending, and
on
what
foreign
he's doing,
affairs now we've moved on. Is he doing all right? Because you know a lot of people love him.
Yeah, I know, that's good.
A recent opinion poll, worldpublicopinion.org, says he was by far the most popular political figure in the world, by far.
Well, that's good. I think that's
very good. A
very
survey in 20 countries.
That's very good. That's excellent news, and that's good for America, and I'm very pleased. On foreign policy, I think where we are is that he's made the first move on many chessboards, on many policies. We don't know what his end game is, and we have to hope that negotiation is the result that we get. We don't know if he's going to be the president who restores American prestige, who frees the world of nuclear weapons from Iran and North Korea, or if he's the president who loses the dollar as the global reserve.
But he's on the right tracks, wouldn't you say?
So far, so good.
Well, I give you, I mean, the summit, the Russia-US summit, the first in 7 years, at least they're talking, they're in dialogue, has already reaped benefits. The Russians have agreed to allow the Americans to use Russian airspace to send their military supplies to Afghanistan. Very, very important, obviously, the conflict there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for instance, it's already reaped benefits, cutting nuclear arsenals by a third, both countries.
Yeah, absolutely. No, there's no question about that. I mean, what has the world given back to Barack Obama internationally in terms of people not going along with the stimulus plan, not sending more troops to Afghanistan? How much he gets, we don't know.
Well, he's already got something there.
I'm hoping he gets a lot.
Okay, Lynn Forrester, Lady de Rothschild, you backed Hillary Clinton and then McCain, Palin, as we said, but you yourself, a very successful businesswoman, multimillionaire in your own right, you were a corporate lawyer. Fortune magazine has named you one of the 5 most powerful women in Europe because you spend some of your time here in London with your British husband, Evelyn de Rothschild. Would you consider going to politics yourself?
I think politics is the art of compromise.
No?
Do you think I'm very good at that?
Well, I don't know. I'm just asking you. I mean, you know, you operated in this big society hostess, political hostess. Why not do it yourself?
Oh, maybe I'm too old. I just turned 55. I mean, I care enormously about public service. I really do. I think, for me, it has always been, instead of philanthropy, I felt if we could elect the right people doing the right things, we can make a bigger impact. And so I think politics is very important.
Lynn Forrester, Lady de Rothschild, thank you very much for coming on Hard
Great to
Talk.
be with you. Thank you.